Good morning, guys. Today we're going to analyze one of our Text Tuesday articles, and this one falls in line with our standard 8L 5.1, which is to be able to summarize how food provides the energy and the molecules required for building materials, growth, and survival of all organisms, to include plants. That's our big learning standard. So what does all that mean? Well, let's see if we can dive in. If you have your article with you, and you should, please make sure that you get a highlighter to annotate and a pencil also if you choose to do the think aloud strategy that I taught you weeks ago. Write down any questions you may have about words you don't understand or about the article itself as we're reading. I'm going to read it for you today, but you guys are going to help, and you're annotating and you're following along. This will go on page 77 in your interactive notebook. Your output will be your questions that you see there. You're going to complete those on your output page on 78 in complete sentences. That is, what did you eat for dinner last night? Last night for dinner I had a salad with tomato soup. That is a complete sentence with punctuation. Okay? Remember, we're trying to get better with our writing. Get the grub. How food helps organisms survive. Food provides molecules that serve as fuel and building material for all organisms. Plants utilize photosynthesis, a process in which cells use the energy in sunlight to make sugars out of carbon dioxide and water to generate food. This food can be used immediately for fuel or materials, or it may be stored for later use. Organisms that eat plants break down the plant structures to produce the materials and the energy they need to survive. Then those materials are consumed by other organisms. So first of all, we've learned about photosynthesis, and we've talked about it several times. But remember, I said plants give us oxygen and we give them carbon dioxide. So the first thing you should be thinking about when you see those chemical equations is, what am I starting with? What is on my reactant side? What is on my product side? If you're starting with CO2 and sunlight with some water, chances are you've got yourself a equation for photosynthesis. Look at your products. What is produced on the right side of the arrow? You should see some oxygen given off to us and other animals. Yes, we are animals. Cells carry the many functions needed to sustain life. They grow and divide through mitosis or meiosis, thereby producing more cells. This requires that they take in nutrients, which they use to provide energy for the work that cells do and to make materials that a cell or an organism needs. The way in which all cells function is similar in all living organisms. Within cells, many of the basic functions of organisms, such as releasing energy from food and getting rid of waste, are carried out by different cell elements. Eukaryotic cells have many specialized structures in the cytoplasm called organelles. Taking it back to 7th grade science, the organelles are the little organisms within the cell. The cytoplasm is the jelly of the cell. That's what holds those organisms into place. And I say organisms loosely because they call those organelles little organs or little animals, you might have heard them called. But really what it is those things in the cell that help the cell do all the functioning that it needs to. Like your mitochondria, that's your powerhouse of the cell, right? Or how about your Golgi apparatus, that's your packing center. All of those things you should have learned in 7th grade science, but if you didn't, we need to review that as well. Mitosis and meiosis, looking up at the first sentence in that paragraph. Now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I struggled in middle school, even though I liked science and I was probably a science nerd, with those two words. And you have to know the difference between the two. So which one is dealing with your gametes or your sex cells? And which one is dealing with only your somatic cells or your body cells? Why is that important? Because when we're talking about cellular respiration and regeneration or repair of cells, you need to know that, ladies, you're born with all the ova or the eggs that you're ever going to have. Those don't get replenished or replaced. So which one are we referring to? The way I taught myself to memorize this, and I just did, it was a way for me to remember, is just think about all the things that we see in the world today. Whether it's TV, whether it is an ad, whether it's even the shopping bag that you get at Abercrombie and Fitch. Everything has been kind of commercialized and sexualized in some way. Now, is that a bad thing? Probably so. However, what I mean when I say that is I don't think those that are advertising could even sell their product without using someone that's half dressed on the cover, right? Or on the shopping bag per se. Abercrombie and Fitch is just one that I'm picking on because they always have a girl in her bikini or a guy with his shirt off. I don't know why. But here's the way I taught myself, getting back to science, to memorize which one is which. Life without sex. Oh my. Mitosis. That is the first one. So this one is without sex. This is not including those gametes or sex cells. That is your somatic cells. These would be your sex cells. Meiosis is dealing with your gametes or your sex cells, your sperm and your ova. All right? Getting back to this. Within cells, many of those basic functions of organisms, such as releasing energy from food and getting rid of waste, are carried out by different cell elements. Eukaryotic cells have many specialized structures in the cytoplasm called organelles. Think of a bowl of Jell-O with candy spread around the inside. The Jell-O represents the cytoplasm, and the candy represents the organelles. The cytoplasm holds the organelle in place to protect them from being slammed around in the cell. Cells break down the molecules in food in different ways. Also, different foods are better for certain cell functions. For example, because of its composition, fruit provides the most energy for the body in the shortest amount of time compared to potatoes, meat, and milk. That's very important as a learning goal for 8th grade science because many students have heard of the carbon up before a game, and most of you probably have been taught that carbs are the best source of glucose or sugar, which is for energy. And you would be correct, but that's for long energy. What they're referring to here is fruit. So if you get asked that question on the EOG, which one contains the most sugar or the most energy in the shortest amount of time, guys, say fruit. When in doubt, it is fruit. Okay? Foods high in saturated fat are not easily broken down by cells and can result in an unsafe amount of fat in fat lining body organs. This is not a good thing because it can cause heart attacks, right? Inhibiting them from properly functioning. All of these factors greatly contribute to a healthy functioning body. Matter, energy, is transferred among organisms in an ecosystem when organisms eat or are eaten by others for food. Matter is transferred from organisms to the physical environment when molecules from food react with oxygen to provide carbon dioxide and water in a process called cellular respiration. For animal cells, it is important to note that food must be broken down into a usable form of energy before the cell can use it. Through the process of cellular respiration, cells convert energy from a sugar, glucose, y'all remember my little formula, my saying, cho, cho, chum, yum, 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 that's my candy, C6H12O6, which spells cho, right? So if you can't remember the formula for glucose, cho, okay? To a usable form of energy called ATP or adenotriphosphate. The energy stored in ATP provides the means by which cells are able to carry out their functions, such as growth, development, and repair of organisms. Locomotion and transportation of molecules across cell membranes, and this process is the opposite of photosynthesis. In plants and animals, molecules from food react with oxygen to provide energy that is needed to carry out life functions. Matter moves within individual organisms through a series of chemical reactions in which food is broken down and rearranged to form new molecules. Plants use the energy from light to make sugars, or food, from carbon dioxide and water. This process transforms light energy from the sun into stored chemical energy. Minerals and other nutrients from the soil are not food. They don't provide energy, but they are needed for plants to make complex molecules from sugar. They make chemical energy. From the sugar they make, chemical energy is transferred from one organism in an ecosystem to another. As the organisms interact with each other for food, the atoms that make up the organisms in an ecosystem are cycled repeatedly between the living and non-living parts of the ecosystem. Living is our biotic parts, non-living is our abiotic parts, right? Over a long time, matter is transferred from one organism to another repeatedly and between organisms and their physical environment. As in all material systems, the total amount of matter remains constant, and even through its form and location change, energy can change from one form to another in living things. Animals get energy from oxidizing their food, releasing some of the energy as heat, and almost all food energy comes originally from sunlight. So on page 78, you're going to complete these questions and you're going to get the answers from your article. You're not going to Google. If you Google, it will be a 0. That's plagiarizing. I want you to pay close attention to number 9 where it says, look at the 2 equations below. We've already had chemistry the first 9 weeks, so this should not be too hard to understand. This is your chum, yum, yum, yum. Think candy. This is glucose. This is the formula for glucose plus oxygen. And remember I said what you start with in the beginning on the reactant side will tell you a lot about what this is. On this side, you see the oxygen, and we know that something's going to be using oxygen plus sugar to yield or give off carbon dioxide with water and ATP energy. Well, you're going to be breaking down this glucose with the oxidation of oxygen here, and it's going to give you carbon dioxide with water and ATP. This, if you haven't figured it out, is cellular respiration. Now look at this one. You start with carbon dioxide, which we know is a waste gas that we give plants. We also know that plants plus water, they need water, right? Yields, and notice we've got some light energy here, and yields means to produce as well. So you've got some light energy, and so carbon dioxide with water and light energy produces or yields, look at there, glucose, which is their food source, right? Because they need, that's the whole point of photosynthesis, is they make their own food. It's their autotrophs. So there's their glucose for food. Plus, look what it gives us. What do plants give us? You got it, oxygen gas. So, let me look at number 10. If you eat a cheeseburger, are the molecules usable in this original form? Please explain your answer. And I do expect you to write and complete sentences. And this one, I don't want you to be stumped by this at all. Think about a cheeseburger. What is it made of? Yes, we know we've got meat, we've got veggies, and we've got our bun, and our bun is carbs, and they're made up of lots of sugar. But can we use it in its original state? Or do those sugars have to be broken down? Do they get stored somewhere? Or are they available for immediate use? Think about that, because what I want you to understand before we get into our healthy living unit is sometimes we can overeat in things that are not necessarily the best for us. I love pasta and bread. Oh my faves. Guess what? If you don't exercise enough, to burn off all of those sugars that are stored when you eat that many carbs? Guess what happens? You got it. It turns to fat.